we were joking earlier, Daniel and I, that curators don't often thank other curators enough. And this idea for this exhibition wasn't born on its own. It was birthed from us, but it was chiseled through conversation with many other fantastic curators.
But again, getting to that moment of finally having more or less a checklist that explores this huge diversity of practices in moving image art today, we came to 3 different groupings, and I will...
What was very important in that moment was to try and make that Nickelodeon moment something where you would see content, but also see other things. And so, you know, this idea of then making a space without walls, without opaque walls, became very interesting and very exciting, that one could actually use fabric to kind of make a translucent aqueous landscape where you could see the reflected light of the other works in the space. And then
moving image as painting, painting as window, window as a view on outside, from which we can see another otherworldly view, certainly outside view. And so for me, Alberti was really insistent upon these 2 things, inside and outside, the relationship of inside and outside, and the idea that you feel safe inside and that you own what it is on the outside. But I think for me, working in the 21st century, I think we realize sooner or later that these things can't hold anymore, that this relationship between inside and outside no longer holds, that the outside world intrudes on our inner lives more than we care to admit, and that the feeling of safety, as well as the feeling of property, is something that is simply untenable.
And I was really fascinated by the sort of poetics of sort of crime, the recording of crimes, racial crimes, mainly by whites against blacks, newly enfranchised black citizens. So I did a series of drawings and sort of wrote up some texts that were maybe sort of tangentially related to the sort of ongoing, almost Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner style, you know, lists of atrocities.
The young character, the young German soldier, is disillusioned, is disappointed in war as an expressive medium, and decides to turn to poetry and write poetry like, as I'm sure many of you are aware, so many people did during the First World War. You're half a brain short of a demigod. Excuse my Greek, you make me Iliad. Then he says, as he walks out, so rude and so resentfully verbose, my shrinking violet and her purple prose. Your grudge is vintage, harbor it with me. Those sour grapes will make a wine-dark sea.